Galloway's support through sight loss. Galloway's Get Active. Leyland Moss Side loop.
Hello everyone, Happy New Year. It's James and Jane again, and this time we're in Leyland. I'm going to bring you on another of our video walks. We're starting off at the roundabout where the tractor behind us called William is situated, and William is one of the gateway features to Leyland. We have shown you one of the other gateway features in one of the other walks, the Centurion tank, and further along this walk there's another one which I think is quite special really, isn't it? So
nice.
We'll show you that when we get there. So come along, let's see what we can find.
The tractor here in Leyland is a model 245, but we call it William. Leyland was not always a manufacturing town. Much of its history is related to its agricultural past, which was fueled by good soils, fair weather and a good supply of water. The name of the town is of Old Anglo-Saxon origin, meaning untilled land. William was a worker, and even though Leyland tractors are no longer produced, it is still common for them to be seen working in fields today.
The tractor was blue with a trailer with a notice board on the side that said Leyland. Leaving the tractor behind, we head down the little lane and keep following that until we come to the end of the lane. There's a muddy path straight in front of us. This is the worst part of the walk for being muddy. So across this muddy path you've got bushes on both sides, and this eventually opens out into a field where we take the left hand side of the field and follow the hedgerow down towards the river Lostock. So going across the boggy field, there's an old oak tree just in front of us on the left. We walk past that and carry on going until we get to the river Lostock. Once at the river Lostock, we take the wooden footbridge that leads over the river onto the other side. We're now crossing over the wooden bridge. There's a nice gravel track on the other side, so we go up the slope and then turn right and follow the gravel track. This track follows the course of the river Lostock, heading towards Moss Side. The river Lostock is on the left hand side, and there's a bench coming up. There's plenty of benches on this walk, and there's trees on your left hand side. We've now got the river Lostock way over to our right. We've got some trees on the right, some grass and further trees on your left. When we filmed this, it was just before Christmas. It was a couple of days before Christmas Eve. So we go over a little bridge and keep following the gravel track. The track takes us past an old, looks like an old fishing pond on our right hand side.
It should bring us out at Slaughter Lane, shouldn't it?
Yep.
Oh, look at this tree here. Somebody decorated a tree. here on the
In the
right.
front there's an old conifer tree that someone has decorated up for Christmas.
Exterior nature. It's got Christmas decks on that.
This looks like it was an old Christmas tree that somebody had planted here a few years ago.
Enjoy yourself in this dreary time. Happy Xmas. Oh, they've laminated them so they don't get wet.
So there's tags, tinsel, beads, baubles. It's a really well decorated Christmas tree. Somebody's done a really good job of it. Not usual come and find something like that out in the countryside. So leaving that tree behind, we follow the path, and just in front of us you can see the stems of some red dogwood. This time of year they're a deep reddy purple colour and they really stand out. You can usually see these on roundabouts and roadside verges. There's also a yellow dogwood where the stems at this time of year are sort of a brightish yellow colour. So following the path we go through a little bit of a small woodland which opens out onto a bit of parkland. And there's a notice board which reads
Runs Walton Bridleway Association.
Yeah.
Malt, kiln, fold, bridleway. This bridleway was reinstated in 2013 by the Walton Bridleways Association, providing access for everyone to this beautiful area of parkland.
So leaving that notice board behind, we keep following the path in the direction we were heading originally, and we'll come through a small kissing gate which leads onto a gravel track. So we go through the gate and follow the track past a couple of houses. This track eventually leads us out through another kissing gate and takes us onto Slater Lane. Turn left and head up Slater Lane and cross over. Once we've crossed over Slater Lane, we carry on until we get to a bus stop where there's a footpath that goes through a little alleyway on our right hand side. This brings us out onto Moss Side Way, which we keep following until we get to Dunkirk Lane. Once at Dunkirk Lane we turn right and follow it down towards the traffic lights. So we cross over Dunkirk Lane and carry on towards the traffic lights. Just before we get to the traffic lights, there's a path on your left hand side. Take this path, again we go past some more of the red dogwood, keep following the path. This runs parallel to the bypass. So following this path we are separated from the bypass, you can't see it anymore, although you can still hear the traffic. It is quite peaceful on this path as well. You can hear the birds singing. Shortly this path crosses another little track which we need to cross over and go through a gate on our right hand side. And keep following the path that runs parallel with the bypass. Again, the path takes us through some small wooded areas. All along this path there are plenty of big green spaces where you could run your dog if it's under control, or come and have a picnic in the summer months. The path comes to a fork where you can either go left or right. We carry on following the path on the right hand side. This path will eventually lead us to the big roundabout at Longmeany GAte. Once we get to there, we go through a kissing gate and follow it onto the bypass where there's a footpath. We turn left and cross over the bypass. Need to take extra special care here crossing because it can be quite busy depending on the time of day that you're there. Once we've crossed over the bypass, we keep following the path towards in the direction of the roundabout, where we come to another of Leyland's gateway features. This one is Bobby the Iron Horse. This is a big horse towing a cart.
Bobby the Iron Horse. The horse is a vital part of Leyland's heritage. Leyland was once known as the Garden of Lancashire. The fertile acres spawned numerous farms where the land was cultivated and crops were reaped. The produce was collected, transported and delivered by heavy horses pulling agricultural carts. This arrangement served the needs of the country for hundreds of years. As the 18th century drew to a close, the Industrial Revolution was gaining momentum. The need to move goods of ever-increasing volume and weight over longer distances became an essential element to progress. The horse and cart was found wanting. This situation led to the creation of a network of canals and 50 years later the steam locomotive-powered railway. This edifice represents the horse-powered heavy goods vehicles which were a common sight in Leyland during the 19th century when the industrialisation of Leyland was underway. Several major factories were in full production at that time and would have relied heavily on local transport. These factories included John Pilkington's Earnshaw Bridge Mill, James Quinn's Golden Hill Rubber Works, Brook Mills, John Stanning's Bleach Works, Andrew Berry and Sons Mount Pleasant Mill. Ironically, one of the three smithies operating in Leyland at that time would be instrumental in hastening the demise of horsepower in commercial transport. The smithy on Towngate, opposite Berry's Woodyard, was the birthplace of Leyland Motors, which in 1904 began producing commercial vehicles powered by the internal combustion engine. The rest is history.
So leaving Bobby behind, we carry on following the path and follow it down Longmeany GAte, heading in towards Leyland. And shortly we come to a white house where there's a path that goes between the two houses. And this comes to a kissing gate which opens out onto some path in the woodland. We go through the kissing gate and keep following the path. This is a nice little woodland that leads again towards the river Lostock. You get to a junction in the path, we take the path on the right hand side, taking us back towards the start following the course of the River Lostock, which is on our left hand side. This path is also very well made and is part of the Leyland Loop cycle and exercise track. So we've got views of the River Lostock on our left hand side. The water level is quite high for this time of year. On the far side of the banks are some nice houses that have the gardens run down to the river banks. Just in front we've got a big weeping willow on the left hand side coming from the river bank, and it's just growing all out over the river. So if we keep following this path, it takes us back over Dunkirk Lane, and then across the other side the path continues and we'll eventually come to Slater Lane. We cross over again and keep following the path. Cross over Dunkirk Lane and pick up the path on the other side, which again is following the River Lostock. So follow the path, you will cross over Slater Lane and pick up the path on the other side, which will eventually go over another wooden footbridge, and this path will lead out towards Leyland Lane, where you will turn right and follow it back to the start point. Yeah. The camera battery ran out at this point, so unfortunately we can't show you that little bit of the walk.
So that was a walk around the River Lostock. The battery on the camera, as you can see, died, so all we need to do is follow the path we were on at the end towards we get to Leyland Lane, then we turn right and head towards the roundabout back to where we started at the tractor. So it's a nice easy path. The first bit was pretty boggy and muddy, but after that you're on decent paths all the way around with bridleways and part of the Leyland Loop. So hopefully you've all enjoyed it. If you'd like to know more about the walk or would like to come along on it, give me a shout. It's 01772 744 148.
James, I'd like to know something. How come I'm all wet, my glasses are soaking, my hair's soaking, and you're all nice and dry?
Well, probably for the reason for that is I've probably got a better jacket, I've got a hat on, I don't wear glasses. So, yeah, so we did get called off by the rain today, but we did finish the walk. That's why we're doing this ending bit in the car. So, if you'd like to know more, like Jane said, wear a decent, if it's going to rain, wear a decent waterproof coat. Maybe Santa might bring you one for Christmas. So, on that note, we'll wish you all happy Christmas, wonderful New Year, stay safe, and we'll see you guys in the next video.
Bye.
Thanks for watching.
Galloway's, support through sight loss.